Hi guys, my name is Will. I'm here at the Patch office and I have a book for you and a short activity after. Today's book we're reading is Christmas in the Country. When I was a little girl, I lived with my grandparents in the country. Our house was small and white. It had an old coal stove to keep us warm and a tiny little kitchen for supper and a nice back porch for the dogs. In the summer, I sat in our swing and ate fresh tomato and sang. In fall, I helped can apples. In spring, I took long walks with my granny. And in winter, I waited for Christmas. Winter in the country is so quiet. The snow slows everything down. Birds are silent and serious. Dogs stay in their warm houses. Children want cocoa and blankets. Everyone is ready for something really special. Everyone is ready for Christmas. My grandfather always got our Christmas tree from the woods behind the house. Off he'd go with his axe while my grandmother and I pulled boxes of old ornaments from her closet, which smelled like wool and mothballs. I loved those ornaments. Some of them I had made myself. Hard foam bells glued with green glitter, red construction paper chains. There were silver icicles and white glass stars and soft angels. Each ornament reminded me of my whole life. Grandfather always brought home a tree that was a little too wide or a little too tall, and we would have to spend the next few weeks squeezing around it in the living room. It seemed sometimes like an embarrassed guest, but we loved that tree and couldn't wait to turn on the lights at night. It was the prettiest thing we had. On Christmas Eve, my grandparents and I went to service at the small Baptist church at the bottom of the hill. I got to stand up front with the other children and sing a Christmas carol for the grown-ups. Afterward, each child was given a small brown bag full of candy and nuts and a tangerine. I gave my grandfather the tangerine because I knew he loved them. My grandparents and I walked home from church through the snow and into our warm little kitchen. We pulled off our wet boots and gloves and hung them near the stove to dry. Then, my grandmother helped me write a note to Santa Claus while my grandfather rested. I left Santa a saucer of cookies and a glass of milk and the nicest note I could think of. Then, I went to bed. And in the morning when I woke, it was still a little dark outside and still a little shivery, and I went to my grandparents' bed and asked them to help me see what Santa brought. And they rose up from their warm quilts, and together we all went to the tree. Every Christmas, Santa gave me just what I wanted, a new doll, and he always gave me something else I hadn't asked for and which was a surprise. A paint-by-number kit, a bear bank, a coloring book. His cookies were always gone, his milk glass empty. I was glad Santa liked everything. I went to church again with my grandparents. Later that Christmas morning, they let me take my doll. The service was short because the preacher knew everyone wanted to play with their toys and bake their hams. He just reminded us what Christmas was about and sent us home. And all that day, there were aunts and uncles and cousins knocking at the door, neighbors dropping off pies, and dogs barking at all the commotion and waiting for leftovers. My grandparents and I kept our Christmas tree for as long as we could, and then finally, after the new year, it was time to take it down. Grandfather hauled it out to the woods while my grandmother and I put the ornaments away. We swept up the needles and tinsel, then we all had milk and biscuit. Christmas in the country was over. There were spring walks and summer tomatoes and fall apples to look forward to now, but in that closet of wool and mothballs, there would be boxes of old ornaments waiting. The end. So the assignment I have for you for this book is a Venn diagram. And what we're going to do is on one side, we're going to have Christmas in the city. On the other side, we're going to have Christmas in the country. And then in the middle, we have Christmas in both. So I want us to list off a couple of different things that we would see in the city during Christmas and the country during Christmas. So some examples for things we'd see in the city would be we would see more people inside apartments and decorating, unlike in the country where we'd see people decorating their houses on the outside. People in the country can also go get their own Christmas trees from their yards, while people in the city do not have that. And for both, most people enjoy presents on Christmas morning. A lot of people go to family gatherings. And those are just a few examples, but go ahead and fill out the rest on your own and see what you come up with. And that's all I have for today.